Most people wake up every morning already defeated, not because life is too hard, but because their mind is unprepared. Before their feet touch the floor, doubt has already entered. Fear has already spoken. Distraction has already won. But what if your morning started differently? What if 6 powerful words, spoken quietly to yourself every morning, could shape your discipline, sharpen your focus, and slowly turn you into a stronger version of yourself? These are not random affirmations. These are identity-shaping words. Stay with me till the end, because one of these words may be the missing piece in your daily routine. The first minutes after waking up are not ordinary moments. They are not empty or neutral. They are a fragile opening, a space where the mind has not yet built its walls and the noise of the world has not fully arrived. In this state, your thoughts are not defended, your emotions are not organized, and your attention has not chosen a direction. Whatever enters during this window does not pass through resistance. It settles. It sinks in. It becomes the first layer upon which the rest of the day is built. This is why mornings decide more than people realize. Most people give this moment away without thought. They hand it to their phone, to messages, to headlines, to other people's urgency. Or they hand it to worry, replaying old mistakes, unfinished conversations, and imagined problems before the day has even begun. By the time they stand up, their mind is already tired. Their focus is already scattered. They feel behind before they have even started, and they call this feeling normal. Strong people understand that nothing powerful is built accidentally. They treat these minutes with discipline and respect, because they know that the way they speak to themselves in private determines how they act when pressure arrives. They do not wait for motivation. They do not search for confidence. They train their inner dialogue carefully, knowing that words repeated daily do not stay as words. They become beliefs that guide decisions when emotions rise. Those beliefs turn into habits that shape behavior under stress. And those habits quietly form a way of life. Over time, this practice creates a calm authority within a person. A steadiness that does not panic. A focus that does not drift easily. A strength that does not need to prove itself. And without realizing when it happened, they stop waking up to survive the day, and start waking up prepared to carry it. I am in control. Saying this is not pretending life will bend to your will, nor is it an escape from pain, hardship, or uncertainty. Life will always throw challenges, and circumstances will always be unpredictable. Control is not about commanding outcomes or avoiding difficulty, it is about commanding yourself. It is about recognizing that no one else dictates your effort, your focus, or your response. The events around you may be chaotic, but the moment you claim control, you become the center of your own life. You stand firm, deliberate, and aware, choosing how to act rather than reacting to every impulse, fear, or distraction that comes your way. This is not easy. It requires courage, patience, and a daily commitment to yourself. But it is the foundation of true strength, because the person who controls themselves controls everything else that matters. When you accept responsibility for your life, victimhood begins to dissolve. Complaints, excuses, regrets, and blame lose their power because you no longer feed them with attention. Energy that was once scattered on anger, worry, or resentment is redirected toward action, growth, and progress. You stop asking why life is happening to you and start asking what you are going to do about it. Challenges no longer intimidate you, they teach you. Pressure no longer overwhelms you, it reveals you. Fear no longer paralyzes you, it sharpens you. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, this mindset transforms the way you move through the world. Your strength begins to come not from comfort or luck, but from the deliberate choices you make when no one is watching. Discipline, consistency, and focus replace chaos and hesitation, and a quiet confidence emerges, forged in the early moments of the day when your mind is still open, impressionable, and unclaimed. Every morning, before the world demands your attention, you have a choice. You can surrender to distraction, to the noise of other people's opinions, to the weight of yesterday's mistakes. Or you can claim the first minutes of the day for yourself, speaking words that anchor your mind, steady your nerves, and direct your energy. These moments are fragile and fleeting, yet they carry the power to shape the hours that follow. The thoughts you allow in these minutes are not neutral, they are seeds. And the seeds you plant now will grow into habits, habits into character, and character into a life that is quietly unstoppable. Control is not about perfection, and it is not about pretending you are invincible. Control is about choosing to act deliberately even when life is unfair, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. It is about refusing to give away your power to circumstances or other people. It is about standing firm in the understanding that while you cannot always decide what happens to you, you can always decide how you respond. This simple recognition removes the weight of victimhood and replaces it with purpose. It replaces chaos with order, distraction with attention, and weakness with strength. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes second nature, an invisible armor that carries you through the most difficult days without faltering. By repeating these words every morning, quietly, deliberately, with intent, you begin to internalize a truth that most people never learn: the world does not determine your life. Your choices do. Your focus does. Your discipline does. Even in the most chaotic moments, you remain steady. Even in the face of fear, discomfort, or uncertainty, you remain unshaken. You stop waiting for motivation, for permission, or for ideal conditions. You move forward because you have claimed your power. You carry yourself with quiet authority because you know that control was never outside you, it was always within, waiting for you to awaken it. And one day, almost without noticing, the person you have been building through these quiet mornings will appear. You will no longer be tossed around by circumstance, distracted by opinions, or weakened by fear. You will move through the world with deliberate calm, unshakable focus, and silent confidence. Life will still test you, and events will still be unpredictable, but none of it will have the power to destabilize you. You will have mastered the single greatest power anyone can possess: control over yourself. And in that control, you will discover freedom, strength, and a resilience that no one, no circumstance, and no misfortune can ever take away. I choose discipline. This is not a denial of desire or a rejection of comfort. It is not about making life harder than it needs to be. Discipline is often misunderstood as restriction, but in reality, it is the purest form of freedom. It is the freedom to act with intention, to move through the day without being pulled by fleeting impulses or unreliable motivation. When you choose discipline, you take ownership of your life. You no longer surrender your energy to distraction, temptation, or laziness. You no longer leave your future to chance or hope that circumstances will be favorable. Discipline is not punishment, it is a tool that ensures every action, every choice, and every effort builds toward the person you want to become. Choosing discipline every morning is like planting a seed in the fertile soil of your mind. On days when you feel strong, it sharpens your focus, guiding your energy toward what matters most. On days when you feel weak, it carries you forward, holding your attention steady when chaos and comfort tempt you to quit. It teaches consistency in a world addicted to distraction, patience in a world desperate for instant results, and strength in a world that celebrates shortcuts and excuses. Motivation comes and goes like the wind, but discipline is a quiet, unshakable anchor. It reminds you that long-term respect, for yourself, your craft, and your life, is always more valuable than short-term ease or pleasure. Over time, this simple phrase, spoken, repeated, and internalized, begins to shape the way you think, act, and live. Discipline stops being an effort and becomes a habit, a default state of being. You no longer wait for courage, confidence, or inspiration to appear, because your actions are no longer dependent on emotion, they are guided by principle. Life will still challenge you, still test you, still throw obstacles in your path, but discipline ensures you remain consistent, resilient, and purposeful regardless of circumstances. It is the quiet force that turns small, repeated actions into mastery. It is the bridge between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. And every morning, when you remind yourself, I choose discipline, you choose freedom, strength, and control over your own life. I do not quit. Quitting is rarely dramatic or loud, it whispers quietly when progress seems slow, when effort feels heavy, and when the results you hope for remain invisible. It creeps in during moments of fatigue, doubt, or frustration, convincing the mind that surrender is easier than perseverance. By telling yourself, I do not quit, you create a shield before resistance even arrives. This is not about forcing yourself blindly or ignoring reality. It is about choosing the process over instant results, committing to the journey even when the world offers no immediate reward. Every step taken, no matter how small, becomes a statement of persistence, a declaration that your growth is more important than temporary comfort. When quitting is removed as an option, persistence becomes instinctive. Challenges no longer have the power to stop you, setbacks no longer feel like defeat. Each difficulty becomes an opportunity to strengthen your resolve, each obstacle a chance to prove to yourself that endurance is not occasional, it is habitual. Over time, this belief builds quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by circumstance. You begin to trust in yourself, in your ability to keep going when others falter, and in the inevitability of progress when effort is consistent. No matter how steep or unrelenting the path may be, you know that you will not abandon yourself, and that knowledge becomes one of the most powerful forces shaping your life. I stay calm under pressure. Pressure reveals the truth of who we are. When challenges arise, most people react immediately, letting fear, frustration, or anger take control, and in doing so, they lose clarity and direction. By repeating to yourself that you stay calm under pressure, you begin training your mind and nervous system to pause instead of panic, to respond instead of react. Calmness is not weakness or avoidance, it is strength in control. It allows you to observe the situation fully, to see options clearly, and to choose your actions deliberately rather than being swept away by emotion. Each time stress appears, this phrase acts as a reminder that you are not defined by the chaos around you but by the composure within you. Remaining calm under pressure transforms challenges into opportunities to demonstrate patience, wisdom, and control. It does not mean ignoring problems or pretending they do not exist, it means meeting them with awareness, facing them head-on while preserving your focus and energy. Calm people do not flee from difficulty, they engage with it strategically, thoughtfully, and with restraint. Over time, this practice builds a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by unexpected events, mistakes, or setbacks. Calmness becomes your default state, and in that stillness, you find clarity, strength, and the ability to navigate life's storms with steady hands and unwavering resolve. I keep my word. Trust in yourself is built not through intentions or wishes, but through consistent action. Every promise you make, especially the ones made in silence to yourself, carries weight. When you remind yourself daily that you keep your word, you reinforce a quiet but powerful standard for your life. Following through becomes a habit, not a struggle. Each action that aligns with your commitment strengthens your confidence, sharpens your discipline, and shapes the person you are becoming. This is how character is built, not through declarations, applause, or recognition, but through the steady, unbroken chain of choices that reflect your values. Keeping your word transforms the way you move through the world. When you honor your commitments to yourself, external validation loses its power over you. You no longer chase approval, seek reassurance, or rely on others to measure your worth. Self-respect becomes internal, rooted in the unshakable knowledge that you are reliable, disciplined, and strong. Over time, this mindset turns promises into principles and principles into identity. The person who keeps their word is quietly unstoppable because every day, in small and consistent ways, they prove to themselves that they are trustworthy, capable, and in command of their own life. These 6 words may seem simple at first, almost insignificant, but simplicity is deceptive. Repeated daily, quietly, and with intention, they begin to shape the way you think, the way you move, and the way you inhabit your own life. They are not just words, they are instructions to your mind, subtle commands that train your nervous system to respond with focus, patience, and resolve instead of panic, doubt, or distraction. Each repetition is a small but deliberate step toward a stronger, calmer, and more disciplined version of yourself. Most people wait for motivation, confidence, or perfect conditions before taking action, and in that waiting, life drifts past them. The strong, however, understand that action comes first. They act even when fear whispers, even when the path is unclear, and even when results are invisible. Confidence is not something that arrives from outside. It is born from doing, from persistence, and from showing up for yourself again and again, without fail. Mastering your mornings is not a trivial task. It is not simply waking up on time or following a routine. It is the deliberate act of claiming your first moments for yourself before the world intrudes, before distractions and chaos pull at your mind. The first few minutes after waking are the most powerful of the day. How you think, what you say to yourself, and where you place your attention in those moments silently dictates the tone for everything that follows. The calmness, clarity, and control you cultivate then carry forward into your decisions, your habits, and your interactions. It is in these quiet, unseen moments that the strongest foundations are built. Over time, these minutes compound into an invisible architecture of resilience, discipline, and inner authority that nothing external can shake. When you master your mornings, you begin to master life itself. Challenges, setbacks, and uncertainty will still come, but they no longer dictate your state of mind or your actions. You begin to notice yourself responding with calm instead of panic, persisting instead of quitting, focusing instead of drifting, and acting with purpose instead of hesitation. The person you were yesterday no longer limits you, and the fear of judgment, comparison, or failure gradually fades. Confidence stops being something you wait for and becomes a natural byproduct of consistent action, self-respect, and deliberate choices. Each day becomes a rehearsal for the life you are becoming, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, you transform into someone who does not just survive life, but commands it quietly, steadily, and intentionally. These 6 words are small, but their effect is profound. They are the first stones of a foundation that supports an unshakable, unstoppable, and extraordinary life. Which one of these 6 words feels like it has been missing from your life right now? Not the one that sounds good, but the one that makes you pause when you hear it. And ask yourself this honestly: how would your days change if you truly lived by that word, not occasionally, not when it is convenient, but consistently? How would your mornings feel, how would you respond under pressure, and what habits would quietly disappear if that single principle guided your actions? You do not need to answer anyone else. This question is not for the comments, not for validation, and not for appearance. It is for you. Because the word you resist is often the word you need. And the moment you begin to live by it, even in small ways, your days start to shift. Your decisions become clearer. Your standards rise. And without forcing change, you begin to move toward the life you already know you are capable of living. The strongest habits are built from the quiet words you repeat when no one is watching. If this video provided value to you, take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe. Every click helps this message reach the people who need it most, those who are searching for guidance, motivation, or just a reminder that they are capable of more than they believe. But don't stop there. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me which word resonated with you the most, which principle you feel is missing in your life, or how you plan to start applying these ideas tomorrow. Your words could inspire someone else, start a conversation, or spark a change in a person who really needs it. Remember, this is not just about supporting a channel, it's about creating a ripple effect. Every like, every comment, every share, is a small action that spreads these lessons to someone who might feel lost, unmotivated, or unsure of their path. By engaging, you are not only reinforcing these principles in your own life, but you are helping plant seeds of growth, discipline, and strength in others. And that is the real power of community, lifting each other silently, consistently, and intentionally toward becoming the best versions of ourselves. So take that step, speak your thoughts, and help these ideas reach the people who need them most. You never know whose life you might quietly change today.